With Sony's recent announcement that they're discontinuing support for physical media starting in 2028, they've also slid in their announcement that in 2027, online support for the PlayStation 3 store is going to end. What this basically means is that a lot of the games that are now currently available on the store for digital only will cease to be accessible by the masses. And with this, we always see an increase of demand for physical media, so a lot of people are going to be hunting for PlayStation 3 games in the near future. Let's be honest, the hunt has already started. So before the FOMO fully kicks in, let's take a step back and focus on some affordable PlayStation 3 games that you should consider getting if you're starting a PlayStation 3 collection for the first time in 2026, or if you're just looking to add more games to your existing collection. Let's go ahead and get into it. The first game you need to have in your collection, the Ratchet and Clank collection. So this is special because it includes remasters of the original 3 Ratchet and Clank games on the PlayStation 2. So specifically, you have Ratchet and Clank Going Commando, and then Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal. So if you've never played a Ratchet and Clank game before, these games are outstanding. So you have Ratchet, who's the furry one, and then Clank, who's the robot sidekick, and together they team up to stop whatever evil plot Dr. Nefarious has come up with. He's the main villain. Dr. Nefarious honestly looks kind of like he'd fit in at home at a Attack of the Martians movie. But basically what you have here, platforming at its finest. Now these games were outstanding on PlayStation 2. They have graphical improvements here on PlayStation 3. Now I just want to acknowledge though, that the first Ratchet and Clank game has been remastered on the PlayStation 4. So to me, that is the definitive way to play that game. However, the other two, right now, this is the best way that you can play them. This copy is currently trending around $50 complete in box. I only see this going up in the future as these games become harder to acquire with closing the digital store. So if you're missing out on these games, definitely pick this up now before you have to pay a little bit more in the future. Here's a game that I believe was a launch title. This is Heavenly Sword. So this game, when it came out, it had some relatively mixed reviews. I want to say it was praised for its graphical prowess at the time, but the criticism and the negative towards it was that it was short or that sometimes the fighting styles felt a little redundant. Fair points, but honestly, this plays a lot like a God of War game, specifically the original God of War games on PlayStation 2. Now you follow this female protagonist. She's the daughter of a chief or clan leader within her tribe, and basically there's this whole thing with this legendary sword that only she can wield, and it gives her special abilities in battle. Basically this is a hack and slash game. You are going through just mowing down your enemies left and right. It does feel a little redundant at times, but the gameplay, as I've mentioned, it's so reminiscent of the OG God of War games. This is a really fun game. It's still relatively cheap today, and it's exclusive to the PlayStation 3 console. So definitely check this one out if you're looking for something a little bit different, but also kind of familiar at the same time. And speaking of God of War, we have the God of War Collection. So this collection includes both God of War 1 and God of War 2 that were first released in the PlayStation 2. These games are outstanding. I know a lot of people love the 2018 God of War and God of War Ragnarok. Me personally, I'm not really into the whole Nordic element for my God of War. I like the Greek version where he's just slaying the gods of Mount Olympus. And these games, this is hack and slash done to perfection. Now the first game, of course, you have Kratos. He's on his mission to get revenge against Ares, the god of war. By the time you enter the second game, spoiler alert, Kratos is the God of War, just mowing down enemies left and right. Super fun game, very, very outstanding collection to have these two games packaged together. And definitely check this out if you haven't played this game before. Now this is a good time to mention, a good pause in the video, to mention that there are going to be a few games that you might think should be on this list that won't be. I want to fully disclose the ones that are honorable mentions. So I just mentioned the God of War collection. God of War 3, an outstanding game. I'm not including it in this video, mainly because there's a PlayStation 4 port that you can get, and I would consider that to be the definitive edition or the definitive way to play this game. So I'm not going to include it here in my listing, but this is still outstanding in its own right. Another game that you can play on more modern consoles that first was introduced on PlayStation 3, The Last of Us. Again, exclusive to the PlayStation consoles, but there are better ways you could play this game today. Still an outstanding game though. Next up, I've got them all, but I just picked number 2 for reference, the Uncharted series. The Uncharted series have been remade, remastered on the PlayStation 4. I recommend going to play them there, but they did originate here on the PlayStation 3, and you can still find them relatively cheap on this console if you don't have the newer or more modern consoles available. Another game that was one of my favorites on the PlayStation 3, but it also currently has a PlayStation 4 port. This is Heavy Rain. It plays out like a cinematic movie where you're in control of the characters and how they interact with the world around them. There's basically a serial killer called the Origami Killer who's on the loose. He has this thing where he kidnaps young boys, throws them in a sort of well, and as it rains over the course of several days, the water rises in the well and the victims drown. And the whole point of this is you have to figure out who the serial killer is and stop them before a child that's been recently kidnapped or abducted is killed by the rainfall, hence the name Heavy Rain. Outstanding game. Definitely check this one out if you haven't. It was originally on the PlayStation 3 before being ported over to the more modern consoles. And then last but not least, this one was always intended to be in this video, but it's getting re-released this month actually on modern consoles as part of the Metal Gear Solid 2 collection, or the Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 2. This is Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriot. For the longest time, this was the only place you could play this game. It is an outstanding entry into Metal Gear Solid. I'm not going to spoil anything for you. Go get the enhanced Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 2 if you've not played this game. So let's get back to the list of what I'm recommending here if you're new to starting your PlayStation 3 collection. The next game I want to cover, this was a console launch title. This is Resistance Fall of Man. Now I believe there are actually 3 Resistance titles on the PlayStation 3. They're all pretty good. I'm not going to tell you pick one over the other or one's better than the other, although it's debatable. The number 2 and number 3 are probably better than number 1. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Resistance Fall of Man, it's basically a apocalyptic or post-apocalyptic sort of world where it's humans versus like these undead creatures. They're not quite zombies, but they're not quite... I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like Resident Evil, Umbrella Corporation, science gone wrong, and you've got these like muted zombies running around. It doesn't really freaking matter. You're running through, it's a first-person shooter, you're gunning stuff, you're grenading stuff, fragging stuff. It is a lot of fun, and exclusive title to the PlayStation console as well. If you haven't noticed the theme yet, this is what I'm going for. These are exclusive titles for PlayStation 3. Next up, we have another collection of games that originated on PlayStation 2, but that's been enhanced for PS3. This is currently the best way to play these 2 games. This is the Ico and Shadow of the Colossus collection. So Ico, if you're not familiar, it takes place in a rundown castle. Very creepy, very eerie sort of environment. You're solving puzzles, you're working with a teammate or a partner in the game to progress through it. Very highly rated, critically acclaimed game. Same thing with Shadow of the Colossus. So in this game, you're basically going after 16 giants that exist throughout the world. You have to defeat all of them, acquire some stuff along the way. Stunning graphics, stunning visuals, 2 very beloved games that still the best way to play them is right here on PlayStation 3. Now during this era, PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, the generation console wars between them, I want to say Xbox 360 most likely edged out PlayStation 3 in terms of exclusive first-person shooters. I mean, heck, they had Halo, they had Gears of War, they had a lot of stuff going for them that were exclusive. Sony and PlayStation 3 did have the Killzone series. So here's Killzone 3. This game's a lot of fun to play still today. It does utilize the PlayStation Move controller, which if you want to feel like you're playing a Nintendo Wii but with modern HD graphics, you can have at it. Me personally, I prefer to just play it with the controller, the old way of playing games, so to say. But this game's a lot of fun. You're just progressing through the map, running and gunning with enemies, blasting them, throwing grenades at them. Great time in this game. So definitely check this one out. It's still very cheap today if you don't have a copy of this. Another series of games or franchise of games that was introduced on PlayStation 3 and is still exclusive to Sony PlayStation, Infamous. Now this game is outstanding because you go through and try and understand what's going on with the world around you. Why the power grid's out? How do you reinstall power to everything? How do you liberate different segments of the population? It sounds boring when I say it like that, but I will say there is a huge plot twist at the end. The payoff reveal that they unload that with on you is pretty outstanding. It kind of makes some of the monotony that the game feels worth it. Now, I've been told Infamous 2 is actually better than Infamous 1. I've not played it, or if I did play it, it was so long ago that I don't really remember the experience of playing it. And this was, frankly, the only Infamous game that I could find in my collection readily available. But great game. It's a lot of fun, still dirt cheap to this day, and likely the price will go up once the scarcity impact of PlayStation 3 games really settles in on everyone and there's a run on these games. Next up, we have a little racing game called MotorStorm. So I think there were 3 MotorStorm titles that came out on the PlayStation 3. They also made a series of these games on the PSP, if I'm not mistaken. But in a nutshell, these are like outdoor, I don't want to call them rally type races because you don't have someone like talking in your ear and directing you like that, but it's outdoor races, dirt, mud, all terrain, and you're using basically all terrain vehicles, cars, trucks, and motorcycles. A lot of fun. There's this nitrous boost that you can use, and it really makes it, you go fast, you feel like a rocket flying through the level, but it's also hard to like go around the turns. It's easy to fall off the map. And what I mean by this is like when you fall off, you see this whole like slow motion segment of your car either exploding, your vehicle exploding, or your body like falling down a mountain. It can feel a little drawn out, but it's kind of hilarious going back and watching it today. I found myself getting lost as much as I was invested in trying to win the game. So take that for what you will, but these games are still dirt cheap. They're still a lot of fun. And if you're looking for a different style of racing game, definitely check out the MotorStorm series on the PlayStation 3. And then another collection of games that you can only find on PlayStation 3. This is the Sly Collection, so the Sly Cooper games basically. In this, you have Sly Cooper and the Thieves Raccoonus, Sly 2 Band of Thieves, Sly 3 Honor Among Thieves. These are great games. Now, I'm relatively new to this franchise. I didn't experience them in real time growing up, but I've re-experienced them in the years past. A lot of fun. I mean, there's some sneaking elements. You're trying to go through. I mean, you are a professional thief after all. But you're going through trying to acquire a loot, trying to evade the cops, trying to evade other bad guys. It's a lot of fun, and it has this beautiful cel-shaded style, art style to it, very much like The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker that everyone loves. I love what they did here, and especially since this is in HD, it's pretty cool to see that cel-shading style of art juxtaposed with the HD graphics. I love it. Very fun series of games, and definitely worth picking up before the prices go up on these. And then to round off the list, we have LittleBigPlanet. So I'm including 1 and 2. Honestly, you're fine with either option. But if you've not played LittleBigPlanet, these are outstanding games. I remember when they were introduced on the PlayStation 3, I hadn't played anything like this to this point in time. You basically play as the protagonist, Sackboy. He's like a hacky sack sort of character with arms, legs, head. And he goes around through the map. The map looks like what you would expect if you were watching like a puppet show unfold in front of you. Or if you're watching Toy Story and like Andy's playing in his room with a cardboard background and he's got the whole setting and scene like that. That's basically this, but you're controlling the Sackboy, you're going through the levels. Very colorful, very vibrant. There's like orbs and stuff you can collect, and there's like stickers and things to unlock, different outfits to unlock. It's a lot of fun. And the music meshes so well with the gameplay. There's so much customization you can give to your character. And as my buddy Lexitan Gaming said on a recent video he did talking about this, part of the fun of this was playing online with friends, which I certainly did at the time too. Admittedly, I don't think that's really possible anymore with the servers not having the full support that they once did, but you can still do couch co-op in this game, and it is a lot of fun. Okay, so there you go. That's just a quick look at 10 of the games that I recommend you pick up if you are new to PlayStation 3 collecting in 2026, or if you're looking to beef up your current collection. Now, I just want to highlight again, these are games that are exclusive to PlayStation 3. These are not games you're going to find on an Xbox 360 console. As always, everyone, I want to thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for subscribing. And make sure you get these games before the prices go up. Take care, everyone.